Hello and welcome to today's graphic design tip of the day. One tip that I constantly am asked about is how to adjust a person's skin to make it clear and clean and look professional. Well, in this picture today, I'm going to show you exactly that. Using my brush tool, I'm actually just going to drop a couple specks on here just on purpose so that I can go through and correct those for you as well. So I'm going to make a copy of my layer. I always want a non-destructive layer with whatever I'm working for. And using my patch tool here, I'm going to be able to grab any imperfection, things that come and go that you would want to change. You can just circle around the outside of it and drag to a clean area within the face. You can also try this for any extreme shine mark, but anything that's close to a crease of the face, that type of thing, we're going to have to adjust later. So something like here, I might be able to pull it to a clean area on this side and blend it out pretty nicely. You just want to be careful with this. You don't want it to end up with a weird outline. Okay, already looking better. Our next step is to open this image in Camera Raw. So I'm just gonna double check my before and my after. I definitely like my after better. So I'm gonna use Control E or Command E if I'm on a Mac to merge those two layers together. Again, make another non-destructive layer so I can see my before and after if I wanna go back and make any adjustments. So I'm gonna go to Filter and down to Camera Raw Filter. I recommend that when you are adjusting a portrait of someone, to always pull a little bit of the highlights out, just a touch. You can make your general corrections here as well. It's a little bit warm, so I'm gonna pull some of that out of the image in general. My exposure looks pretty good. I have some nice value here. So I'm gonna keep the rest of it as is. Okay, check my before, my after looks way better. Again, Control E or Command E if you're on a Mac to merge those together. My final step is going to give it that fantasy, nice soft skin so it's ready to go. Go to Filter and Camera Raw Filter one more time. And in this last step, I want to scroll down and we're going to adjust two things here. One is going to be the texture. So I'm going to pull the texture just down a little bit here. And also my clarity. Don't go too far or it's going to blur your entire picture, but I'm just looking at the skin. So just blur it enough where it's soft, but it doesn't look fake. So just a little bit there. And the rest of the image we're going to be able to bring back because I made that non-destructive layer. So on this new layer that I just blurred, you can see my before and my after. I'm going to add a layer mask. So right down at the bottom, it looks like a little camera in the bottom of your layers palette here. If you click on that, it adds in that layer mask for you. And using my brush tool set to the value of black, I can actually go back over the top of anything, make sure your opacity is up enough, but it's still a fuzzy edged brush. And I can bring back everything that is crisp and clear from that layer underneath. So you can notice that the eyes right away are much more crisp. I want to bring back my eyebrows, my teeth. So anything that is not actually skin that you wanted to be nice and soft, you can go back over the top of on the rest of this image and really increase the sharpness there. And there we go. Skin is much clearer, doesn't have as much shine from all that sunscreen, and looks much more magazine ready for your design that you're creating. I hope you enjoyed today's graphic design tip of the day. As an added bonus for today's tip, I made a brand new layer on top of my layer that I just edited. I'm going to grab my brush tool, hold down my Alt button or Option if you're on a Mac, and choose one of my highlight colors. And if you go through the areas of skin that already have highlights on them and just touch them a little bit, it's going to soften them but also give it just a little bit more highlight in those areas. And it doesn't look real yet, so you're gonna have to go to Filter, down to Blur, and over to Gaussian Blur to smooth it out just a little bit to make it look more natural. You can also go to that layer and turn down the opacity a little bit so it's less harsh, but it's gonna give it that kind of soft airbrush look as a final result.